Today I'm going to recommend some books to read during the winter season. I recently talked in a video about holiday themed books, good or bad, ones that are more revolving around the holidays or Christmas time, but marketed that way. These books are all books that just happen to take place over Christmas or in the cold winter season or in a snowy place. So I wanted to go through a list of books that you could read seasonally if you're into that kind of thing. I love when the book that I'm reading matches the setting of the season, especially in winter if it's like not actually wintry outside. I like to read a book where it's snowing. So I have a big stack of books here that either take place during winter or they're snowy, or for some reason I feel like they are seasonally appropriate for you to read in December. They cover all genres from horror, general fiction, thrillers. So let's just get started because there's a lot to go through. First up is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. You've probably heard about this book a good amount of times. He's a very famous author. I read this book at the beginning of the year and I loved it so much. I've read a couple of Frederick Bachman books before, but I think this is my first 5-star that I've given him. This book follows a hockey town and it is winter, it's ice hockey, and we also have some wintry times in the book. The book itself is such a cozy town as well. Now sometimes Beartown is not the friendliest or nicest place to be, but it has like that small town woodsy feel that's just a good winter setting. But in this book, we're following this town who is obsessed with hockey. They are really hoping that their junior league hockey team wins the championship. It's the first like really good team they've had in years, and that could bring a lot of opportunity to the town. But something tragic happens that kind of changes the trajectory of things and kind of lets you see like where the town's priorities really lie. This is the first book in a trilogy. I've only read the book once so far, but I really want to keep reading and return to this little town that is kind of run down, kind of bedraggled, but also has hope and has a great winter setting. Next, I have a horror read, and that is Christine by Stephen King. Christine is that book about the haunted car, but it's really a good book. This is my first 5-star Stephen King book. I really enjoyed it. It follows 2 high school boys. One day they're driving down the road and they see this car. It's a red, beat up Plymouth Fury, I think it was, and he just falls in love with it. He sees the potential in it and he wants to buy it and fix it up. So he gets his car. Nobody really thinks he should have the car. Everybody hates the car, partially because it's taking over his life, but partially because the car has weird vibes. But this is a horror book, so scary things do start to happen. And a portion of this is set during wintertime and takes place over Christmas. And it's like at the peak of when the horror scary things are happening. And I just loved that little peek at Christmas in a horror novel. Like it's such a juxtaposition between like a happy, fun holiday time and like death in the streets. So this one was really good and has that little bit of holiday fun. Next, I have one more Stephen King, and that is The Shining. This book is so wintry and takes place over Christmas, actually. So this book follows a family. The father is getting a new job as an off-season caretaker at this big hotel. Somebody has to stay there over the winter and like keep the heat running, keep things in order, but knowing that they're gonna get snowed in because it's up in the Colorado mountains. So the family is gonna be completely isolated and not have access to, like, say they need medical attention or emergency services. They're gonna be snowed in on top of a mountain, but somebody has to stay there and take care of the hotel. The last off-season caretaker killed his family and himself. So it is a little worrying. The hotel seems to be a little haunted, and things just evolve from there. It is spooky, it is wintry, they're snowed in this hotel, and there's also a little hint of Christmas. Otherwise, not the most happy or fun book, but it is like a classic horror story, and I thought it was a good time. And I love, again, seeing a little hint of the holidays during a crazy, hectic time. And then I have another horror book that involves someone getting snowed in. Ghost Story by Peter Straub. This book I read a few years ago, but it follows a group of older men in a small town, and they did something bad many years ago, and something might be coming back for vengeance. So it is a horror story. It is set in this small town where they get a lot of snow. They have a really bad winter. And again, it's like at the peak of the horror stuff happening. But it's such a good time to have that like haunting and follow these 4 different perspectives as they're going through the scariest thing of their life. All right, that is all I have in the horror genre. Next, I have a fantasy, which is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I feel like this book used to get talked about a lot, but I haven't heard anyone discuss it for a while. So I wanted to bring it back because I really enjoyed this book when I read it. It is very much like a Russian fairy tale feeling involving fairies. We follow this young woman who is in a very poor family, and she figures out a way to make some money and gets a reputation for turning silver into gold, which then gains the attention of the fairy king or the fairy prince, and she has to go live with him. And it's just a very, like, it feels like a fairy tale the way that it's told, the plot of the story. It's a very like cold, chilling, but also like a fun fantasy story. It's snowy, it's wintry, it's beautiful, there's a castle. I just remember this had very good winter vibes. And the story we follow with the fae creatures or fairies and this girl trying to navigate it. It's just a good time. And then another fantasy book I have is Hogfather by Terry Pratchett. I forgot to mention this one when I was talking about holiday themed books. But this one kind of is holiday themed, but it's also like part of a large fantasy series. But anyways, Hogfather is Santa, but Santa with like hog tusks. This book is set deep into Terry Pratchett's Discworld, so there were definitely some things that went over my head, references to other books and other tales from the world, but otherwise I still had a good time. In the Discworld version of Christmas, someone I think was out to get Santa, or Santa disappeared, or sorry, the Hogfather disappeared. So we're trying to find out what happened to him. And it was just fun. It was very, very holiday centered, obviously. And set in a fantasy world. I don't see that very often. If you have any more books like that, please let me know. But I just love that mix of holiday set in a fantasy world, especially when it's a fun, funny book. Next, I have some thrillers for you. So this is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Can you tell by the cover why I'm recommending this book? We're following a married couple, and I think it's their 10-year anniversary, and they went a trip to Scotland. So we're staying in this house for their anniversary. It's actually kind of weird, but the husband has facial blindness, so he can't recognize people's faces, even his own wife. That obviously has so much potential for thrillery twists. But also we know that both spouses are lying to each other, and we're getting their inside thoughts as they have rather dark thoughts about their situation and about each other. And this book was just full of twists and turns, but it's also set in a cold, snowy location. So it's such a fun thriller to pick up during winter. Next, I have The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. Hello, Snowy Forest. This follows a group of writers who are selected by, I think it was like a famous writer, and they're all brought here to kind of work on their projects, a writing retreat. And they're staying in this big gothic mansion with this weird elusive writer, and it is snowy everywhere. It's a beautiful snowy setting, and things start going awry in the house that they're staying in. So the woman who is hosting the retreat tells them all that they have to write an entire novel while they're here on this trip, which is a lot, and our main characters never even published a book before. So there's that stress, and then one of the writers disappears. So we're trying to find out what happened. Is it something nefarious? And things get pretty twisty turny after that. And I can specifically remember some like good snowy thriller scenes. So much fun. Next, I have One by One by Ruth Ware. I have not enjoyed what Ruth Ware has been up to recently. Her last couple books have not been like her classic thriller type of books, but before her recent stuff, I did enjoy One by One. Again, these covers are totally telling the story for me, but this book is following a company trip to the Swiss Alps. And we have, it's a tech company that's like something like Spotify or something. And they're all staying here, and then I think people start to disappear, like a classic locked door mystery when you don't know if someone amongst the group is committing these crimes. It was just another good time, but he was also surrounded by like skiing and a snowy mountain retreat. I'm telling you, I love the setting. I need more snowy time books. Oh, this one is The Family Game. This one actually revolves around Christmas as well. This follows a newly engaged woman who is going to meet her fiance's family and stay at their house. He is very wealthy and they have a strange famous family, and when she gets there she finds out they have a family game tradition that she has to partake in. And meanwhile his father also gives her a tape of a book he's been working on, but it seems like he's actually confessing to crimes, so that adds a fun twist. But again, beautiful wintry setting in a fun thriller. And then I'm always looking for a reason to recommend Inkblood Sister Scribe because I loved it when I read it. This is by Emma Torres. This is a book that follows two sisters who their father passes away at the beginning of the book from a magical book. They have a library that they keep safe of magical books, and one of the sisters actually left when she turned 18. She's been running around the world since then, and I recommend this because she is staying in Antarctica, the ultimate cold, snowy setting. So that's fun because how often do you read a book set in Antarctica? That's just part of the book because we're also set in like the regular world with the other sister. And then there's another character that we follow as well, but we're learning about the magical books that they have been taking care of their whole life that they don't know much about, and we're finding out about the magical world at large. So I think this book is so good. It's like an urban fantasy, but there's like more gunfights than there are magic fights, so it's very much a thriller, which obviously I love. So this is a great one to pick up, especially if you want to have a little piece set in Antarctica. And then finally, I'm going to recommend Ascension by Nicholas Binge. I honestly did not love this book. However, I had so much fun reading it. It's a sci-fi book where we're following a group of characters as they climb up a mountain. So this mountain appeared out of nowhere, and our group here is going to like figure out where did this mountain come from and like research this mountain by climbing it. And there's like some weird stuff going on, but even though I didn't love the way this ended, I loved the ideas in the book. I loved the sci-fi elements that the author came up with, and I really enjoyed the setting of climbing up a cold, snowy mountain, and every day they get higher, like the air's thinner, it's colder, it's snowier. It was such a good setting. It was such a good like start. The first 50% I loved. Once things started getting revealed, things went downhill for me, but I really enjoyed it overall. Like I remember the reading experience so fondly. Like I was having so much fun reading it. I was looking forward to picking it up. So even though the end didn't work out for me, I really loved the reading experience, and I really want to read this author again. But Ascension, a great mountain climbing sci-fi spooky book. Alright, so those are all the books I'm recommending as wintry seasonal reads. If you have books that are set during the winter time over the holidays that are not necessarily marketed that way, so it would be hard for me to tell that they're winter reads, let me know because I love that setting obviously, and I'm always looking for more, and I would love to be reading snowy books into next year. So let me know if you have any recommendations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye.